Europe in Flux, A Continent's Turbulent Past by Dr. Clara Voss, prepared by Hamid Al-Kayai. Introduction. The Paradox of Unity and Division. Dr. Clara Voss frames Europe's history as a relentless cycle of upheaval and reinvention, driven by competing ideologies, shifting borders, and cultural collisions. She argues that Europe's identity is forged not in stability but in its ability to navigate crises, from imperial collapses to democratic rebirths, while grappling with the legacies of conquest, revolution, and globalization. Chapter 1, Foundations of Flux, Antiquity. Middle Ages, Greek democracy and Roman Empire, Athenian democracy, 5th century BCE, contrasted with Rome's imperial bureaucracy, 27 BCE 476 CE. The Pax Romana's infrastructure, roads, laws, clashed with internal decay and barbarian invasions. Christianity and feudalism. The Church unified medieval Europe spiritually, while feudalism fragmented it politically. Charlemagne's Carolingian Empire, 800 CE, briefly revived Roman ideals. Crusades and Black Death. The 1095–1291 Crusades exposed Europe to Islamic knowledge but fueled religious intolerance. The Black Death, 1347–1351, killed a third of the population, destabilizing feudal hierarchies. Chapter 2, Renaissance, Reformation, and Religious Wars. 1300–1648, Renaissance humanism, Florence's Medici patrons and thinkers like Erasmus, 1466–1536, revived classical learning, challenging medieval dogma. Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther's 95 Theses, 1517, shattered Catholic hegemony, sparking wars like the 30 Years' War, 1618–1648, which reduced Germany's population by 30%. Printing press and power. Gutenberg's invention, 1440, spread ideas but also propaganda, entrenching divisions between Protestants and Catholics. Chapter 3, Enlightenment and Revolution, 1648–1815, Enlightenment ideals, philosophers like Voltaire, 1694–1778, and Locke, 1632–1704, championed reason and rights, inspiring revolutions. French Revolution, 1789–1799, the Reign of Terror and Napoleon's rise, 1799–1815, exported revolutionary ideals but also authoritarianism. Congress of Vienna, 1815, redrew borders to suppress nationalism, yet failed to quash demands for democracy and self-determination. Chapter 4, Industrialization and Imperialism, 1815–1914, Industrial Revolution. Britain's factories and railways revolutionized economies but spawned urban poverty and labor movements, for example, Chartists. Colonial exploitation. The Scramble for Africa, 1884–1885. And Leopold II's Congo atrocities exemplified Europe's extractive imperialism. Rise of nationalism, unification of Germany, 1871, and Italy, 1861, under Bismarck and Garibaldi, ethnic tensions in the Balkans foreshadowed WWI. Chapter 5, World Wars and Ideological Extremes, 1914–1945. WWI's devastation, trenches, chemical warfare, and 20 million deaths led to the Treaty of Versailles, 1919, sowing seeds for World War II. Interwar chaos, hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, Stalin's purges, and fascist rises, Mussolini, Franco, Hitler. Holocaust and World War II, Nazi genocide, 6 million Jews murdered. World War II's 85 million deaths ended with Europe divided at Yalta, 1945. Chapter 6, Cold War divides and European integration, 1945-1991, Iron Curtain, NATO versus Warsaw Pact split, Marshall Plan rebuilt the West, while Eastern Bloc states endured Soviet repression, for example, Hungary 1956, Prague Spring 1968. EU's birth, Schuman Declaration, 1950, and Treaty of Rome, 1957, laid groundwork for economic unity, though Thatcherism, UK, and Gaullism, France, resisted federalism. 1989 revolutions, fall of the Berlin Wall, Velvet revolutions toppled communist regimes, culminating in USSR's collapse, 1991. Chapter 7, Modern Challenges, 1991 Present, Post-Communist Struggles, Yugoslav Wars, 1991-2001, and Ethnic Cleansing, EU Expansion Eastward, 2004, brought growth but also xenophobia. Refugee Crises, Syrian War, 2011 Present, and 2015 Migrant influx tested EU solidarity, rise of far-right parties, Le Pen, AfD. Brexit and disunion, UK's 2016 EU referendum exposed nationalism versus globalization tensions, Putin's Ukraine invasion, 2022, revived Cold War fears. Climate and identity, Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future versus populist backlash, debates over multiculturalism and EU federalism. Key themes 1. Power and fragmentation, empires rise and fall, but nationalism and regionalism persist. 2. Ideological battleground, clash of liberalism, fascism, communism, and populism. 3. Cultural exchange versus conflict, from the Renaissance to the EU, cooperation and prejudice coexist. Conclusion, a continent in perpetual motion. Voss concludes that Europe's strength lies in its adaptability. While haunted by wars, colonialism, and authoritarianism, its capacity for reinvention, through democracy, social welfare, and transnational cooperation, offers hope. Yet unresolved tensions, migration, inequality, climate, demand a reckoning with past sins and a reimagined future. Notable figures: Charlemagne, 742-814, unified Western Europe, blending Roman and Christian ideals. Catherine the Great, 1729-1796, modernized Russia while expanding its empire. Winston Churchill, 1874-1965, symbolized World War II resilience but upheld colonial hierarchies. Angela Merkel, b. 1954, steered EU through crises, embodying pragmatic unity. Legacy: Europe's innovations, parliamentary democracy, scientific method, welfare states, shaped global modernity. Yet its history of exploitation and violence remains a cautionary tale. Author's perspective: Voss balances scholarly rigor with moral urgency, urging Europeans to confront their past while championing solidarity over division. The book is both a chronicle of chaos and a plea for ethical renewal.